It's a quiet Saturday morning on Van Buren Place in South Los Angeles. But these aren't the sights and sounds residents in this area are used to. These are. You're looking at an aerial view of the Jefferson drill site. It's an active oil drilling site in the middle of one of the most densely populated neighborhoods in Los Angeles. It's been there since the 1960s. It used to be owned by an oil drilling company called Freeport-McMoran. That was until January, when Sentinel Peak, another oil drilling company, took over.
I walk by and I can just smell the fumes.
Amanda Yang and her husband Hamilton live across the street from the drill site.
I've been woken up by the sound of like metal clanging pipes and like large, loud diesel engine sounds.
Similar complaints from the couple upstairs.
It kind of smells like a gas station, a mixture of a gas station and rotten eggs in my home.
Loud, kind of thudding, clanging sounds.
But loud noises and bad smells aren't their biggest concern.
Suddenly I'm having trouble breathing, I'm asthmatic, so I can feel my chest kind of tighten up.
I get headaches from just the intensity of the fumes.
Those fumes are most likely hydrogen sulfide. It's a chemical naturally found with oil, but it's just as common as it is dangerous.
It can be linked to dizziness, to headaches, as well as exacerbate asthma symptoms.
And it smells like rotten eggs. So the drilling company tried to mask the smell by using more chemicals. Jill Johnston is a professor at the USC Keck School of Medicine who studies the health impacts of oil drilling. She says the chemicals only make it worse.
This type of chemical appears to have strong associations with skin reactions or causing eye irritation, nose irritation.
We reached out to the drilling company that last owned the site. We also tried to speak with the current owner. That company referred us to the California Independent Petroleum Association, which represents both companies.
There are a number of safeguards in place to ensure that operations maintain their safety and efficiency.
To keep people safe, the city of LA set aside 4 lots next to the drilling site in the 1960s. They called it a buffer.
The intention of buffer zones are to provide a level of safety.
On the other side of this wall is the drill site. What I'm standing in now is the buffer zone. And if you look just 6 feet away, a distance I can literally touch with my 2 hands, these are homes with people living inside.
You shouldn't have, active oil wells next to people's bedroom windows.
It's not a place to be pulling oil out of the ground. It's just not healthy.
In the 1990s, the city seemed to agree. We found city documents that specifically say the buffer zone will be used to assure that the oil drilling operations would be suitably buffered from the residential uses in close proximity to the oil drilling. In that same document, the city noted that the added buffer would further insulate the residential community from possible adverse impacts associated with oil drilling. Obviously, that's not what it's doing.
People have become human shields, and predominantly they are USC students.
And the city knows that. Documents also show the city deliberately acknowledged the intent of using the buffer properties for student housing associated with the nearby USC campus. We knocked on the doors of the homes in the buffer zone to see for ourselves. No one would talk to us on camera, but we did talk to one resident who told us all her roommates go to USC. She just graduated last year. Neighbors say the USC students could be one reason why the city hasn't done anything about the site. Many don't complain and then they move away. Residents think the demographics of the area could be another explanation for the city's lack of action.
The city overlooks neighborhoods that are low income, ethnic minorities, which is the majority of my neighbors are.
But LA's Department of Planning says that's not true. In response to our request for an on-camera interview, the department gave us a statement saying complaints received about a specific drill site are addressed with the utmost attention, regardless of location.
We have appealed to City Council and complained.
And they've also complained to the South Coast Air Quality Management District. That's the government agency responsible for monitoring air quality in LA. Between 2010 and 2014, neighbors to the drill site called the AQMD 15 times to complain, but the agency only cited the drilling company with emissions violations twice. A public records request shows 15 more complaints filed last year.
I don't think there has been due diligence done on, this site and, the way that it's operated and what it's been doing.
And City Councilman Marquise Harris Dawson seems to agree. In a statement, he said the city needs to re-examine the city requirements at the site and respond to the issues put forward by residents. A city administrator says they're trying.
We're looking at things to make sure that we're administering this in a modern 21st century approach.
But neighbors say they want changes now.
I think this is a matter of life and death.
It's just not being taken seriously, which is sad because it's our life. It's our lives.
Concerned residents have filed a petition with the city's planning department. The city held a public hearing in January, and a decision on whether the drilling operations are in violation of zoning rules is expected to come within a few months.